Welcome to the Halz Urban Multisport Radio Podcast. Your host is the first African-American youth triathlete turned business owner of Halz Enterprises, best-selling author, a scholar triathlete, co-founder of the IABT Junior Multisport Club, influencer, leader, advocate, swim coach, junior triathlon coach, pioneer, trailblazer. The 2019 Junior Multisport Philanthropist of the Year award winner, and recognized by mayors, county executives, and governors for her work on behalf of urban youth in the sport of triathlon, Miss Halz Simons. We will dive into strategies beneficial to young ladies, the triathlon sport, education, athletics, college and career, youth business owners, the workforce and job preparation, internships, urban youth, and much more. This show is for youth, parents, and coaches worldwide as we prepare youth today to take their rightful places as leaders tomorrow. Show host Miss Halz not only talks about it, she lives it daily. Be sure to connect with us on all social media platforms at Halz Urban Multisport Radio Podcast or on the web at halzenterprises.com.
Hey everybody, it has been a while, long time no see. Welcome back to Halz Urban Multisport Radio Podcast with your lovely host, Halz Simons. So today is going to be a different episode, different from all of my other ones. So what's the purpose of this episode? So today we're going to go through 4 main topics. Number 1 is going to be where I've been. Like, where have I been? 2 is going to be a life update. 3 is going to be about what I've been doing in college and what college has been like. And then number 4 is going to be how I'm going to start using this podcast that I have and going forward. So number 1, we're going to start off with where have I been? I know it's been about 3 years, almost going 4 years since I last touched my podcast channel. I remember that I think the last episode I did was definitely a spiritual podcast episode where I did a series of my spirituality podcast when we talked about law of attraction, law of assumption, law of vibration, all the universal laws of the universe. But I will say that I kind of lost my motivation for my podcast channel, so that's why I've been kind of MIA for a while. Also because there's been a lot of school related stuff that happened, so let's get into it. So number 1, I graduated high school. I graduated high school in 2023 at 17 years old. I graduated from Chesapeake High School, and that was a whirlwind of things. 2, I'm in college. Yeah, I'm in college. I go to the illustrious Spelman College. At 18 years old, I'm currently a junior. I study photography with a minor in management and organization, which is down in Atlanta, Georgia. What else has happened? I don't know. It's like there's so much to like, I guess, talk about that has happened over the last 2-3 years since I last did a podcast episode. So it's like a lot. Graduated from high school at 17. I'm in college at 18. A junior, like I said. Right now, I am in the middle of getting my associates in business administration at my community college down at Baltimore County, of course, CCBC, for those who know. My business has been doing exceptionally well. I'm gonna get into that a little bit later, but we are gonna be having our 5-year anniversary come March of 2025, so I'm super excited about that. What else has happened? I've been enjoying life. Life has been lifing, you know. I know the last time we talked, I started my spiritual journey. or my spiritual awakening. I will say that has been going amazing so far. Of course, we've had our ups and downs, but here we are. Here we are. What else has happened? Yeah, focused on me for a bit. I remember I was in a relationship, then I just got out of one. What else? And yeah, that's where I've been. I've really been focusing on school, and focusing on getting myself together. So that's why I haven't been on this podcast in a while. Really been focusing on me and whatnot. Life updates. Okay. The reason why I'm like speeding through like where I have been, because it's like I've been in school. I'm gonna say that for the most part. I've been in school. I've been, getting this education. Because that PhD degree is not gonna get it herself or whatever. So yeah. So I guess that will also tie into life updates. I'm home for winter break. We just went on winter break, I want to say maybe like a few days ago. So I've been home for maybe like a good day or two. College has been good. I've been loving college. I've been loving meeting new people, gaining new experiences. And yeah, it's been good. I've been loving college and I can't trade it for the world. What else is a life update? Yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like the only big thing that has happened ever since I haven't been on this podcast is graduated high school, go to college now, of course at Spelman, at the number one HBCU in the world. Let's talk about it. Yeah, I guess we'll talk about that for a bit. So when I was looking to apply for colleges this time last year, of course, my number one choice was to go to HU, the real HU, Hampton University, of course, to become a D1 triathlete, because y'all know how I've been doing triathlon for, I want to say over 10 years now, and of course, I wanted to continue doing that in college, and especially at a HBCU, but sadly, of course, Hampton didn't want to give me no money, and I wasn't going to be a broke college student while representing Hampton University. Like, hello, make that make sense. Like, no scholarships, no nothing. So of course, I guess I'll talk about like how I got accepted into Spelman or whatever. So it was this time last year that I was, we were down at the Avenue and my brother was doing ice skating, and I was in the car with my mom, waiting for my brother to have his little fun. And then I get a random email. I'm like, okay, what is this? So I get a random email saying you have been accepted into Spelman College. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then when my mom saw the email, she was like, Haley, you got into Spelman. Oh my gosh. And now, yeah, don't quote me on this, okay? Don't come for me. But I did not know how good or the history behind Spelman College. I was like, Spelman, okay. She was telling me how it was in a all-girls school. She was saying it's like Harvard but for black people. And of course it's an all-girls school, of course. And then I was like, okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research and found that, of course, it was founded in 1881. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. And of course, we have Morehouse College right next door. They were founded in 1867. And I was like, oh, okay. Mind you, at that time, I didn't know the gravity of like me getting accepted into Spelman. I didn't understand like the gravity of it. So February of 2024, was it 2024? Yes. February of 2024. Then that's when I went to have a go tour Spelman. Yo, when I tell you, the minute that I stepped on that campus, I absolutely fell in love with it. It was like a black woman paradise. I know I'm kind of glazing it up, but I was like, or was it no, I'm lying. It was February 2023? It was February 2023. My fault. Because I was the class of 23. Sorry. February 2023, not 2024. February of 2023. Y'all, when I tell you, the minute that I stepped on Spelman's campus, I fell in love with everything. The fact there's so many black women, girls that are just like me. It was a lot of girls that had their natural hair out because, you know, like in the outside world and like society, girls are always wearing braids, wigs, sew-ins, leaves out, and everything like that. It wasn't like that on Spelman's campus. Almost every girl I saw had their natural hair out. I mean, like 4C, 3C, 1A, 1B, like any hair type you think of, they had it out. And I just love how small the campus is. It's like a big circle, which I absolutely love. The student to teacher ratio was amazing. It's 1 to 11, so it's one professor with 11 students. So that makes it so much more easier for students to have one-on-one and a closer connection with their professors that I absolutely love. And it was a liberal arts school. So I was like, yeah, this is where I'm gonna be. Because at first, before I went to Spelman, I was gonna major in business administration with some minor, I'm not sure. But when we saw that Spelman offered photography as a major, I was thinking of like, I've been doing photography ever since middle school. And it wouldn't make any sense for me to stop doing photography. Well, of course, still continue to do photography, but on the side. But I'm like, why don't I make it as my actual study? Because for y'all, for the most of y'all, some of y'all that might know, like, I am a self-taught photographer. I've taught myself photography. I've done like courses at my community college and of course online, but being able to actually go to college and do a study that I love and have been doing for years, ever since 5th grade, was like, that's a bomb. That's a game changer. And then of course still continue to get that business aspect, that business side of things. So I minored in management organization. First, it was management and organization and entrepreneurship, so double minor. But then on my track that I'm going, entrepreneurship didn't really have classes. They maybe had like 1 or 2 classes. So I was like, with my credits that I've already had that transferred over from the community college, I would have already completed my minor in management and organization. So we decided to drop the entrepreneurship and continue with the management organization. And I was like, cool, this is great. You know, went there, fell in love with it. We went to something called Spellbound, where admitted or interested students at Spelman got to tour, you know, Spelman a little bit more, get to know about the history, get to meet our bigger Spelman sisters and things like that. And I was like, yeah, well, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to go. This is where I need to be, right? It's out of state. Of course, it's in Atlanta. Of course. And also the other reason, after, you know, I got to Spelman and everything, what I found out too is, what I also found out too was that it was also really good for me to be in Atlanta, because the arts, entertainment, and business industry in Atlanta has just continued to develop, and it's continuing to growing at such an alarming rate. And I was like, I felt like this is where I needed to be. The minute that I got down to Spelman, I fell in love with the city. Of course, we didn't like tour the city or anything, but it was like, if this is going to be my home for the next, if I'm going to go to a college that I'm going to love for the next 3 years, I need to be at least in a city that I love. And I absolutely fell in love with Atlanta. And I was like, this is where I need to be. So a year later, here I am. So I came in as a first year sophomore. So like a freshman, but my status was a sophomore. And I'm going to say the experiences and everything that I have learned along the way being at Spelman has been absolutely amazing. For y'all, of course y'all don't know, I started my life journey November of 2023. I made 1 year a month ago. So it's been 1 year and 2 months. So there has been a lot of changes to me, physically as a person, spiritually as a person, mentally, and then everything like that. So yeah, so that is a good segue to get into what college has been like. And so before we even get into what college is like, we're gonna go ahead and take a short little mini break, you know, to bless y'all ears for my yapping or whatever. And yeah, we will be back.
Like the show? Catch more episodes and new products on all social media platforms, Halz Urban Multisport Radio Podcast, or on our website at halzsenterprises.com. If you're interested in being a guest, want to advertise to a minimum of $75,000, interested in sponsorship partnership, or curious about services such as coaching, training, photography, or programs, email info@halzsenterprises.com today. Let's chat today.
Alrighty, hey, my beautiful people. So of course, here we are after the break. And so what we were talking about before was like where I have been, my life updates, and really have been talking about like where my life has been for these past 2 to 3 years as I've been MIA on you guys. So next, we're going to talk about what college has been like. Of course, I was getting a little snippet of what college has been like or whatever, but I want just going on more deeper, like more in depth, if that makes sense. So first of all, let's talk about Haley, what are you doing in college? You know, talking about these amazing things that you're doing, this, and the third, but what are you actually doing? Like, what are you doing in the Spelman community to give back? So glad you asked this question. So I am a part of various organizations. I want to say like maybe 2 to 3 organizations. So the first one that I'm a part of Event Envoys, and essentially Event Envoys is a hospitality organization on Spelman's campus that hosts very big events on Spelman's campus. And I had the pleasure and opportunity to sit on their executive board as one of their co-social media chairs. And so the other organization I'm a part of is called NFDP. They are a bone marrow and sickle cell health advocacy organization that helps give back and feed information about what sickle cell is, and how bone marrow transplant can help save one's life. And of course, I had the pleasure and opportunity to sit as social media chair on the executive board. Yay. And I was a part of this organization called Spelman Film Fusion, but of course I really needed to what's the word that I'm looking for? I needed to just put a list of priorities, because Spelman Film Fusion is a arts and media organization on Spelman's campus that helps like documentary film students, photography students, any students that are interested in like arts and the entertainment industry. That's what they focused on. But I'm not necessarily interested in getting into the arts or entertainment industry. I'm more interested in getting into the marketing, social media, and advertising industry. So I was a PR intern for them, but then I realized I really had to think about like my choices and what was most important to me, and that wasn't something that was important to me. So of course I did step down. It wasn't a huge loss. It was just more about I just really need to prioritize of where I was putting my energy to. And then the last organization I am a part of is called the AUC Baltimore Club, of course, and I sit as the social media chair for the Baltimore Club. And all 3 of these organizations have been nothing but amazing, and they have definitely been giving me the opportunities and everything that I needed to outshine myself and just me as a person. Next, my business, Halz Enterprise LLC. Now y'all thinking about like, okay, Haley, you went college, but where has your business been going? So glad you asked. So with Halz Enterprise LLC, it has been really, really good this fall semester. I've gained a lot of clients. I've gained a lot of opportunities to take pictures, either if it's more from paid or unpaid. Most of them paid, of course, because we college students and we got to get that bag somehow. When I was first integrating my business down in the AUC last year, it was a little challenging, of course, because I'm in a new space, I'm in a new setting, far away from home, and I just had to get my ground footing. So of course I will talk about having my business, but of course not really act on it, because I just had to get a year underneath my belt. But as soon as this fall semester hit, boom, talk about client after client after client after client. And I just want to say, like, I am grateful and honored with that, and gratitude, I always give gratitude to the universe and God or whatever. And it's been nothing but greatness, and I've really, really loved that I've been able to expand my business down at Spelman and at Morehouse, and eventually start integrating over to Clark Atlanta pretty soon. So yeah, business has been booming and business has been amazing in Atlanta. Secondly, I have a work study, so I got myself an on-campus job, which has been amazing. And I have the pleasure of being a budget and contracts assistant in the budget and contracts office on Spelman's campus. And the reason why I decided to go for budget and contract assistant is because it's going to help me with my goals long term. Of course, me getting my master's in PhD in business administration, and then also of course just working of like what it's like to budget my money when it comes to grants and contracts from a business perspective and a personal perspective too. So I thought that was just amazing. And of course, I got awarded for work study for that. So just being able to get the experience while also being in college is something that I'm never ever going to downplay or forget. So I just love it so much. And I took 18 credits this semester, and I'm going to be taking 18 credits again next semester. But this semester, I was maybe in like one to two classes in my major, but in the spring of 2025, I'll be heavily delved into my photography major, which I am very, 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 very excited for. And yeah, so so I wrote some questions down for myself. And so the first question I asked myself was, what are the ups and downs? So, as college students, we talk about like the high life, being away from parents, getting their freedom, gaining new experiences. But sometimes we have our ups and downs. So I will say the ups would have to be being away from home, getting the freedom, getting that independence that I've always been yearning for. What else? Being able to figure out who Haley is, because of course being sheltered and being in the comfort of my home with my mother, it's like, yeah, I'm figuring out who Haley is, but in college I really, really got to know who Haley is as a person, her morals, her values, her ethics, what she likes, what she doesn't like, and that's been really good so far. And also definitely thinking for myself too, and of course still having the guidance of my mother and everything, but my mother is not going to be here forever, so I have to start thinking for myself more than ever. So that's also been good, thinking for myself, having a new sense of accountability and responsibility, separating myself between who I consider as a friend, someone who benefits me and supports me, versus somebody who doesn't at all, So that's what I'll say the ups are. The downs are being lonely in college, y'all. Like, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Being down there, the first year being down there at Spelman, last year, I didn't really get to make as much friends as I would want to. A lot of times I was really questioning about if Spelman was right for me. And the only reason why I said that, because I'm like, I see a lot of people kikiing or whatever, making friends, talking about what they're going to do and things like that. But for me, it was more of like, I was more of an introvert than an extrovert. And that was something completely new, being in a new environment and things like that. And so they really don't talk about like the loneliness that you feel in college. Yeah, you have your family there. Yeah, you have your parents with you, but the loneliness in the sense of making friends, connecting with people, finding like-minded individuals yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it was like that for me for the first year down at Spelman. Did it get better in the spring? Yes, because I met more people. I got out of my shell. But during the fall semester of 2023, it was a lot. It was lonely. It was really lonely, and I was just like, wow, like, huh? Yeah. So yeah. Also, trying to find out your sense of identity and who you are as a person, that's also a down as well. And I'm still figuring out like my identity and who I am as a person every single day, but it really came up, boom, straight forward in the face. While I was down in college. So that's the ups and downs. Okay, so the second question is, what experiences have I gained in lessons that I have been learned? So some experiences that I have gained is definitely with my discernment, getting closer with the universe and with God and everything. Thinking for yourself, being quick on your feet, definitely having connecting with your network, meeting new people, putting yourself out there, not just staying in your dorm 24/7, but also getting out there, letting people know who you are, who people know who you are, not just by voice, by face. So yeah, again, y'all, I'm yapping. I'm a yapper. I like talking. So yeah. And I did touch on the question of like what I'm doing now in college and things like that. So, also I have completed externships and internships. I just completed one externship this fall. It was a sustainability and marketing program with Home Depot, which was really good. And then I did 2 internships over the summer. And yeah, so that's good. And yeah, now we're about to get into the meat and greedy and the importance on this episode. And I'm doing a restart of my podcast. So I feel like, let me talk about the reason why I want to restart my podcast. And the reason why I want to restart my podcast is because now that I'm getting back into something that I haven't done about like 2 or 3 years, I want to start doing something different now. Not about just doing like spirituality, tips and tricks for Black girls and things like that. But I want to be able to make this podcast something that I love and something that I like to do, and not just abandon it if I just get bored from it, So I am doing a restart of my podcast. Of course, I'm going to still keep all of my old episodes and everything still up from like 2021, 2022, 2020. Of course, if you want to go back to it, of course, I'm going to keep like my spirituality series up, my tips and tricks for Black girls, those 2 series back up, but we're gonna do a whole reset. I'm still getting into the nicks and tricks of like what I want my podcast to essentially be, but the next episode you will find out what it's going to be. So yeah, so this is it. I really just wanted to be like, hey. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and formally introduce myself once again for my new listeners. Hello. My name is Haley Simons. I am 18 years old, a junior in college. I major in photography with a minor in management and organization, and I have the pleasure of going to the illustrious Spelman College. I am the CEO of Halz Enterprises LLC that I founded in March of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. I'm an award-winning podcaster, blogger, author, all of the sorts, and I am the co-founder of the IABT one of the co-founders of the IABT Multi Sport Club. And yeah, and welcome to my podcast. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, like I said, y'all, I'm a yapper, no script, no nothing. So I would just talk your ears off. And if you love this episode, make sure to like and follow and turn on those post notifications so that you can get updated with all my newest and latest episodes. And yeah, so until next time, guys, see you later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Halz S's Urban Multisport Radio Podcast. Visit us on the web at www.halzsenterprises.com or on all social media platforms at Halz S Urban Multisport Radio Podcast. This is Halz S Urban Multisport Radio Podcast, and you are the advocate, the leader, the visionary, the innovator.